Hi guys, welcome to Microsoft ERP Beginners Tutorial Series. As promised in the previous episode, in this episode I'm going to discuss about the supplementary items in Microsoft Dynamics 365 for finance and operation. Supplementary items in the purchase side is what we are going to cover today. With that note, let's get started. So for demonstrating the supplementary item, I have created few items in the system to save some time. One is Honda CBR, which is the motorcycle. So whenever I purchase this motorcycle from my vendor will be providing me with a couple of helmets and a gloves for free. That's going to be one of my scenario, but we will also try to do some variations of the same scenario, like the helmet is not free. Helmet is, maybe the vendor will give a couple of helmets for a 50% discount for every motorcycle like I buy, and likewise maybe the gloves is for free always. And some other scenarios, like when I buy 10 motorcycle, then the customer will give me one motorcycle for free of cost, or maybe for a 50% discount. So this kind of scenarios can be achieved by configuring a supplementary item in the system. So we will see how we do all this scenario through the concept of supplementary item. So for those who all new to this channel, in this channel we are doing a series called Microsoft Dynamics 365 for Finance and Operations series, where we will be covering from the scratch. That is, in the first episode I've created a legal entity, and that legal entity is the ADC Motors, which is an automotive company. So all the examples and scenarios we will be discussing will be specific to the ADC Motors, that is automotive scenarios. So that's the reason I have created a motorbike representing that automotive company, right? So now let's go ahead with our scenario. So this is a motorbike, and I'm now going to configure the supplementary item for the motorbike. How do we do that? Is click on the tab called Purchase tab, and then click on the supplementary purchase item section. So as soon as you click that, you will see a table, and you can just click on new, and you will be able to choose a specific vendor. In most of the cases, every vendor will have a different levels of promotions and a supplementary item setup. So in majority cases it's specific to a vendor, but in my example, to just keep it simple, I'm going to just give this discount or this promotion. I'm going to assume that I get this promotion whenever I purchase from any of the supplier who is supplying a Honda CBR. So I'm just going to make it as all, so it's applicable for all vendors now. So now let me just give my supplementary item, which is going to be in this case helmet and glove. So let me first select helmet, and the quantity here represents, like, for every purchase of one bike I get 2 helmets for free, right? So you put your quantity, which is one bike, so the quantity is 1, and how many supplementary item I get is quantity 2, right? So you might need to put your supplementary quantity here as 2, right? This column is a supplementary quantity column, so you will define your quantity here as 2. So you know what this 2 represents? This 2 doesn't actually indicates that for every one bike it is 2 quantity. This represents that for every one bike or greater than one, I'll get 2 bikes, right? But that is not really what we're trying to achieve here. So I will talk about it in detail a little later. Let's first check and test this scenario on how it works. Later we'll come back and do some changes, right? So in this case, the scenario that I'm trying to achieve is for every one bike, my vendor is going to give me 2 bikes for free, right? So I'm going to turn on the free of charge switch over here. So that will make this line free of charge. So now let's add one more line. This is also applicable for all the vendors, and this is going to be my glove, and the glove is again going to be free of charge. So just make it as free of charge. So for every one bike I get one glove for free of charge. So go ahead and put it as 1 here, right? So if you want to have a date or a promotion date for this particular supplementary item to be valid from or to date, you may also define your from date here and to date here, and this supplementary item will then be applicable only within that date range. If you are creating a purchase order beyond that date range, supplementary item won't be applicable. So let's first test this scenario, and we might need to do some changes to really achieve our scenario. So let's first test how this works, and then we'll come back to the supplementary item section again. So let me go back and create a purchase order quickly. Document and sourcing, all purchase order, and new purchase order. So I can create purchase order for any vendor because supplementary item is applicable for all the vendors. So let me just choose a supplier, Contoso Asia supplier, and let me also put my site and warehouse. Say okay. Okay, so now I'm going to purchase a bike from my supplier. So I'm going to add my Honda CBR bike. So that's the item. So as soon as I add my bike and save it, I expect the supplementary item to populate here because I did my setup. But it doesn't, because it doesn't automatically populates. You might need to go into the purchase order line and just click on the calculate supplementary item button. So as soon as you click on the calculate supplementary item button, you will see that the calculated supplementary item screens opens up with a helmet which is of 2 quantity, a gloves which is of 1 quantity, which is exactly what we were trying to achieve, and it is done, right? So everything looks correct until here. But the problem is, if I try to change the quantity to 2, right? That is, I'm going to buy 2 bikes here. Let me save it and calculate it again. So my expectations here are I should be getting per bike 2 helmets. So 2 bikes, 4 helmets and 2 gloves, right? So let's see how the system behaves. So let's get into supplementary item, and you will still see that even for 2 bikes, I will be getting only 2 helmets and 1 glove, which is wrong, right? But this is not our scenario. So what did we do wrong is, that's when the concept of the field over here at the bottom that I'm highlighting in the cursor, that is multiple quantity, comes into picture, right? So if you want to achieve your scenario of, per quantity you will be getting 1 gloves, and per quantity you will be getting 2 helmets, then if you just define like this, then that means that system understands it to be for every 1 quantity or greater than 1 quantity it is 2, for every 1 quantity or greater than 1 quantity it is 1. So that's what the system understands. So that's why the system is behaving a little different from our scenario. So in order to correct it, you want to put your multiple quantity over here at the bottom as 1. Okay, so if you do so and just save the screen, go back to your purchase order. Let me just to be at the safer side, remove this and add again. Let me add the item again, which is my bike, and purchase order line. Go to the calculate supplementary item. Oh, that is fine. Let's now try with 2 quantity, right? 2 quantity. So then you will be seeing the results that we were expecting, which is you will get 4 quantity over here, right? I think for the gloves I did not put it, so that's why it did not come. So let me just put it for the gloves as well. And now let's try again. Let's recalculate again. You'll see that there are 2 gloves and 4 helmets because the quantity of bike that we are trying to purchase is 4, right? So now let's do another variation of this scenario. That is, my vendor is going to give me, and another thing to notice here is, let me just do this again. Go to the supplementary item, calculate it, and just say okay, and this item will be automatically populated in your purchase order line. So there's some warning. You will see that the quantity to 4, but you do not see any net amount because they are free of charge, right? So now let's try to remove them and try to make it as maybe the helmet is not free of charge. So let me just remove the free of charge switch, save this, go back, add the bike again. That one, and go to the purchase order line, calculate it, say okay, and in this case you will see that the price is populated for the helmet because it's no more free of charge, but no price is populated for the glove because it's still free of charge, right? So that's about the free of charge checkbox. Let me just remove them, and let's do another scenario. Let me also remove this line. Let's do another scenario. So in this scenario, I'm going to my vendor is going to give me 1 bike for free for every 10 bikes I purchase from him, right? So how do we do that? Just add a new, let's say it's applicable for all the vendors. So every 10 bike I purchase, I get 1 bike for free. So I choose the same item, and this is 1 quantity, and here what do we put is multiples of 10. Not for every item, this is for every 10 items, right? So we put multiples of 10 here, save it, and go back. Now let's say let's add the item CBR. Let's put the quantity as 10, and let's calculate the supplementary item. I'll see that there is a bike that I'm getting for free of cost. So let's say now I'm buying only 9 quantity, right? Saving it. So if I go back to my purchase order line and see the supplementary item, I'll not see the bike here because the bike is free only if I buy 10, right? So likewise, if I put 20 here, then I will get 2 bikes for free. So if I go and check my supplementary item, I'll see that I have 2 bikes for free because it's multiples of 10. So that is the concept of supplementary item for you guys. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Hope it was useful. See you again in another episode with few more features on purchase order document in Microsoft Dynamics 365. See you again next episode.